Buster, I want to now talk about the weekends leading up to June the 7th.
Yes, sir.
And we showed the picture of the lake weekend where you were went up to Kiowee with the Proctors and the Brandstetters.
Yes, sir.
And then the following weekend, I believe, was Memorial Day. Were you with your family on Memorial Day weekend?
Yes, sir.
And who was present?
A lot of people were present. I was there. My brother was there. My mom, my dad. My brother had some friends staying with us, and those were the people sleeping there. And then people are, in and out throughout the day, throughout the weekend.
I mean, was it a fun family weekend?
Yes, sir.
Okay. It was a normal Memorial Day weekend at Edisto with your family and friends.
That's right.
Okay, I'm going to show you. No, this is not it. I'm going to show you Defendant's Exhibit 123. And I want to get you to identify it, Buster. Don't just say what it is, please.
It's a picture of my mom and my dad and I on a boat.
Is that Memorial Day weekend?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, we move Defendant's Exhibit 123 into evidence.
No objection.
It's admitted.
Is this the photo, Buster?
Yes, sir.
And then I believe this same weekend there was a birthday party or cookout. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Doug, if you could play Defense Exhibit 61, please. It's in evidence. I want you to take a look at that.
So much. Hey. Thank you, baby.
And was that your mom make a cake for your dad?
Yes, sir.
And that was a group of friends. When's your dad's birthday? Do you know the exact date? It's not a test. You just say you don't know if you don't know.
No, I don't know the exact date.
It's around Memorial Day?
That's right.
Okay.
27th, maybe.
Then the following weekend, there was a baseball tournament in Columbia, correct?
Yep. Yes, sir.
Tell the jury about that weekend. What happened there?
That was the weekend. South Carolina was hosting a regional baseball tournament, and me, my mom, my dad, and my girlfriend went to the baseball games.
And where was the game?
Columbia.
And it was a super regional or?
Regional.
A regional.
Yes, sir.
And what days of that weekend did you go to the game?
Saturday and Sunday.
Did your mom and dad stay in Columbia that weekend?
They did.
Or they stayed on Saturday night?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And did y'all tailgate with them on Saturday or Sunday?
Yes, sir. We did.
Okay. And was it a normal weekend?
It was.
Fun weekend?
Yes, sir.
And that Sunday would have been June the 6th, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then on June the 7th, we went through a host of number of telephone calls with you and your dad and mom leading up to 9:08, 9:10 on June 7th. Buster, when did you first find out that your mom and brother were murdered?
My dad called me. I can't remember the exact time, but it was later. And he called me on the phone. He asked me if I was sitting down, and I was like, yeah. And then he, sounded odd, and then he told me that my mom and brother had been shot.
What'd you do?
Well, Brooklyn, my girlfriend, was with me, and I think she heard she could hear my conversation kind of over the phone. And so she just started packing stuff, and I kind of just sat there for a minute. And I was in shock. But eventually we got our stuff together and drove down to Moselle.
Do you remember what time you got to Moselle?
It was early in the morning, late in the morning. You know, if we left around 10:30, 11, got there sometime probably around 2 o'clock in the morning.
And when you got there, condition was he in? What was his demeanor?
Yeah, his demeanor was, I mean, he was destroyed. He was heartbroken. I walked in the door and saw him and gave him a hug and just broken down.
Could he speak?
Not really.
Was he crying?
Yes, sir.
Who else was in the house? Do you remember?
Yeah, my girlfriend Brooklyn and I got there. Out in the driveway, my Uncle Randy and Uncle John were out there. Chris Wilson and Corey Fleming had just gotten there. They had pulled in behind us, and when I walked in, several of the partners were there. Ronnie Crosby was there, Lee Cope was there, Mark Ball was there, Austin Crosby was there, William Barnes. My buddy Nolan was there. And I'm sure I'm leaving some out, but that's
Sure.
what I remember.
And do you remember how long you stayed there?
Stayed there several hours, probably 3 or 4 hours, till about 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning.
And where did you go?
And then we left Moselle and we went to Alameda.
When you say we, who are you talking about?
My girlfriend, my dad, and my Uncle John.
I know this seems kind of trivial, but what was your dad wearing when you first saw him?
Shorts, t-shirt.
Okay. And did you help him pack?
I did, yes, sir.
What did you do to help him pack?
Got his bag and went into the closet, grabbed some t-shirts, grabbed some shorts, grabbed toilet kit, put it in the bag and left.
Why were you doing the packing?
Just trying to help him. He was so upset. We were all upset, but just trying to expedite the process of getting to Alameda.
When you went in to pack your dad, was there a t-shirt laying on the floor?
I couldn't remember.
Did you get shirts from above the, I don't know.
Objection to form of question.
Where did you get the t-shirts from?
Got them from the closet, and there's like wooden shelves up on the wall, and I was getting the t-shirts from there.
Were there a lot of t-shirts on the shelf?
Yes, sir.
Do you know whether or not one of the t-shirts fell on the floor when you were packing?
I don't know whether one of them fell on the floor or not, but I mean, certainly could have happened.
Right. When you got to Moselle, were you able to get some sleep?
No, sir.
Did you go back to Moselle the next morning?
Yes, sir.
And who went with you?
Me, my girlfriend Brooklyn, and my dad, and maybe John Marvin. I don't know if he was riding with us or already out there separately, but he was somewhere in the mix.
Do you remember roughly what time you got to Moselle?
I mean, I think we got there rather early. Nobody really slept, and it was about early in the morning. Sun comes up. Just
Did
go back.
Did you take a shower and Brooklyn take a shower at Alameda, or did you do it over at Moselle?
No, sir. We slept tried to sleep at Alameda, and then we took everything back with us to Moselle, and we showered there.
Do you know where your dad took a shower that morning?
Yeah, Moselle.
And when you went back over in the morning, do you know what your dad was wearing? When you were traveling from Alameda back?
No, not specifically, but I know that, you know, I know what I packed, so it could have been any of that. It's just athletic shorts and T-shirts and stuff.
And after you got to Moselle, and I guess just carrying the days forward, were you with your dad? Well, how often were you with your dad once you got back to Moselle on the 8th?
Every day.
For how many days?
For a good while.
Okay, so let's talk about where you stayed on the night of the 8th. Do you remember?
Night of the 8th would have either stayed back at Alameda, or that's potentially when we made the transition over to John Marvin's hunting lodge.
Okay. Well, were you, when you say we, are you including your father?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did you drive together?
Yes, sir.
You was he pretty much in your eyesight for the first few days?
Yes, sir.
And so after the 8th, and then you come up on the 9th, a Wednesday, do you know whether you were at Alameda or spending the night at your Uncle John Marvin's place?
Yeah, I think at that point we had switched over to his place over at Greenfield.
Now, and you call it Greenfield, that's the name of his hunting
Yes, sir. Just the name of the property overall.
property. Now, how far is it from Alameda?
To Greenfield?
Yeah.
A couple minutes. I mean, not
Close
very.
by, close
Yeah, right down the road.
And then, and do you remember how long you stayed at Greenfield with your dad?
Yeah, I mean, several days. And, you know, I think anywhere from the 9th to the, you know, probably that rest of that week through that weekend.
Yeah, on Thursday, June 10th, what happened?
Grandfather died.
So the family was together and stayed together?
Yes, sir.
Do you ever remember your dad disappearing for any periods of time?
No, sir.
Were you physically close to him most all the time,
Yes, sir.
except when you were sleeping?
That's right.
And I believe the funeral for your mom and brother memorial service was on that Saturday?
Yes, sir.
And then that Sunday was a funeral for your father? Grandfather. I'm
Grandfather.
sorry.
Yes, sir.
And at some point in time you went to, did you go to Somerville at some point in time?
Yes, sir.
Do you remember when you went to Somerville?
Right, you know, beginning of that next week.
Okay. I'm going to show you what I marked as Defendant's Exhibit 129 and ask you.
We discussed previously, we are objecting on the hearsay basis to 129.
Yes, sir. Your Honor, I'm not introducing 129, offering it to the witness to refresh his recollection. That's the extent.
All right.
But it's for ID. Buster, I don't want you to publish that, but I want you to, I want to ask you that Defendant's Exhibit 129 marked for identification purposes refreshes your recollection as to when you left to go to Somerville.
Yes, sir.
Tell the jury, what is that? What's that document you have in your hand?
It's a text thread between my girlfriend and I.
And does it have, so based on that text communication between you and your girlfriend, it refreshes your recollection, when did you leave to go to Somerville?
June 14th.
And looking through there, refreshing your recollection, how long did you stay in Somerville?
Stayed in Somerville until the 17th.
And then what do you remember doing after you left Somerville?
On the 17th, we left Somerville to go to Lake Kiwi.
And so when you were in Somerville from the 14th to the 17th, who were you staying with?
Staying with my grandparents.
And then you went to Kiwi. Who did you go with?
Went with my dad and I, my grandparents, my aunt and uncle, and their children, their children's boyfriends, and that was it.
So you're with your dad from the night of June 7th through the Kiwi trip, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And you remember what you did after the Lake Kiwi trip?
No.
At some point in time, you decide, I've got to go back to Rock Hill?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Remember roughly when that was?
No, I mean, I think it was sometime following all this, but I can't tell you exactly when I went back to work.
When you decided to go back to Rock Hill, you had a job in Charlotte, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Did you have any discussions with your father about your personal safety?
Yes, sir.
Did he make any offers to you?
He did.
What offers did he make to you?
He offered me to...
Basis for the objection.
Hearsay, self-serving hearsay.
Response.
An offer is not hearsay, it's an offer.
The objection is sustained.
Did you take any security precautions?
No.
Did you want any security protection?
No, sir, I didn't.
Why not?
Well, I didn't want to carry a gun or anything like that, and I also didn't want like a private security detail following me around just for lack of privacy. And at the time, the places that I was staying and the places that I were going, like I was staying at Rock Hill in my girlfriend's house, who has, alarm systems and security cameras and whatnot. And then other than that, I'm staying in hotels, which,
Right.
I just felt.
Did at some point in time you and your father announce a reward?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to show you what it marks as Defendant's Exhibit 126 and ask if you identify this. If you can identify this.
Yeah, yes, sir. This is the reward.
It's a news release about the reward.
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, we've moved Defendant's Exhibit 126 into evidence at this time.
No objection.
Submitted without objection.
Can you pull it up, Doug? And if you could just pull out the top two paragraphs, please, Doug.
This can't be the word, it's not the same.
Oh, you can't. Okay. Did you work on this language with your dad?
Yes, sir.
Can you read to the jury the first two paragraphs, please, beginning with Alex and Buster Murdaugh?
Yes, sir. Alec and Buster Murdaugh announced today a reward of $100,000 for information leading to the arrest and conviction of the person or persons who brutally murdered Paul and Maggie on June 7th, 2021. I want to thank everyone for the incredible love and support that we have received over the last few weeks. Now is the time to bring justice for Maggie and Paul. Buster and I, along with Maggie's mother, father, and our entire family, ask that anyone with helpful information immediately call the SLED tip line or Crime Stoppers.
Thank you. Now, there's in the body of this, there's a expiration date on this reward. What's your understanding of the purpose of having an expiration date?
I'm not real sure.
Okay. Well, you say it says to be eligible, the person claiming the reward must submit the tip to SLED or Crime Stoppers by September 31, 2021?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What happened in September, early September 2021, Buster?
Talking about the...
Yeah, do you remember your dad going
Yes,
off
sir.
to detox, road shot shooting?
Yes, sir.
From that moment that your dad went to the hospital and went to detox, did he ever come back home to his property, his clothes, his belongings, to
No,
your
sir.
knowledge?
No, sir.
There's been some questions about whereabouts are Alex's clothes. Can you tell the jury, before he went off to detox, where his clothes were? How many different locations he had clothes?
So, had clothes at Moselle, had clothes at Greenfield, had clothes at, probably a few clothes at Almeda, had clothes at Randy and Christie's house, had clothes a lot of places.
You have clothes down at Chichesi, or
Yep, Chichesi, Okatee.
you have clothes at Edisto?
Yes, sir.
You have clothes in his car?
Yes, sir.
Can't lead the witness.
How many nights after June 7th, to your knowledge, did your dad spend at Moselle?
None.
How many nights after June 7th did you spend at Moselle?
None.
I'm gonna, Doug, you have the Snapchat video? Can you pull that up, please? Of the tree. Your Honor, this is the Snapchat video that's in evidence. I'll get the exhibit number for the record shortly. Buster, you recognize that shirt?
Yes, sir.
What kind of shirt is it?
It's like a, short sleeve button down shirt.
Is it a Columbia shirt?
No, it doesn't look like a Columbia shirt.
What color is it?
It's blue.
Okay. Did your dad have a foam green Columbia sports shirt?
Maybe.
Okay. Is this it?
No, this is blue.
Right. Did do you know if your dad ever ordered any Vinnie Vine, or I don't know? Did he order clothes after your mother and brother's murders?
Maybe he ordered clothes, but he doesn't wear a lot of Vineyard Vines.
Okay. Have you ever seen him buy Vineyard Vine?
No, sir.
And you can take that down, Doug. Sometime in August did you go with your dad where you played in a golf tournament?
Yes, sir. I went and played in a golf tournament, and he came and wanted to watch us play in it.
And what kind of golf tournament?
It's a golf tournament that a buddy of mine puts on in Somerville every year. It's called the Jasso Invitational. It's just a bunch of guys that are friends come together and play in a golf tournament.
And did you look up the date of that tournament before testifying today?
I did.
And what weekend was that tournament in August of, in 2021?
Yeah, it's the last weekend in August of 2021.
Okay.